So in this video, we are going to talk about two different examples that are a little bit more advanced that involve fractions in different capacities in our equations. The first is what happens when we have a fraction as our coefficient, how we can solve this problem here. And the answer to that is, if you were to think of this as multiplication, you would think, okay, I need to divide by this coefficient on both sides of my equation. Well, dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal of that fraction. And by reciprocal, I mean exchanging the numerator with the denominator. So the reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3. If I do that, what ends up happening is that 6/5 and 5/6 will cancel out. That's partially because 6 times 5 would be 30. 5 times 6 is also 30, which equals 1. 1W is the same as W. Then over here, if I type 6/5, 6 divided by 5 times -30, or excuse me, times -20 into my calculator, I get -24, which would then be my answer. So let's try this on a couple of examples here. On this first example, just like normal, I'm going to start by getting rid of my constant by subtracting. I'm going to have 3/5 x equals 6. Now, to divide by this fraction, I'm going to really do that by multiplying by the reciprocal on both sides of my equation. That's going to cancel out here, leaving x. In my calculator, I can do 6 times 5 divided by 3, which gives me 10. So that would be the answer to my equation. Let's try this one. Here, I'm going to start by subtracting 9, since the 9 is positive. Those will cancel. This is going to leave me 6 equals -1/2 x. Now, in order to cancel this fraction out, to multiply by its reciprocal, I take the reciprocal of -1/2, that would be 2/1, but still negative. That way, a negative times a negative is going to equal a positive. -1/2 times -2/1 just equals 1. So I just have 1x, or just x. I have to do that on this side as well. This is going to equal -12. So that would be my answer to that second one. The second type of problem that we're going to look at are examples that are a little different because the multiplication or division has to be done first, followed by the addition or the subtraction. The reason is because this whole numerator is a quantity. I have to get rid of the 8 first, so I'm undoing this division. Since I'm dividing by 8, to undo that, I would multiply by 8. That'll cancel there, leaving me x plus 11 and -24 on this side. Then it's just an easy one-step equation away from solving. So I'll have x equals -35. On this one, I'm going to multiply by -2 on both sides. That will clear up the division on the left. I'll have n minus 5 equals +14. Add by 5, those cancel, and n equals +19. And there you have it. That's your two new different types of equations involving fractions.